So I was lucky enough through my training in medicine to travel quite a lot around Queensland. So I did one of my terms up in Cairns, I did another in Gladstone and had some time in Rockhampton as well. And I think that gave me an appreciation for some of the scope of medicine as well, not just the hospital side of things that I'd seen in Brisbane in my training time there. And so because of that, I've developed a bit of an interest in rural medicine. And although the town that I'm working in is relatively close, it still retains a small town feel, and people are quite willing to, as a GP, let you do and manage a lot of things. And I certainly think my training throughout Queensland helped me to do that. Yeah. I'm the only doctor in my family, so I suppose the collegiality is something that I think about, and I'm certainly still in touch with several of, like, a lot of the people that I went through medicine with. I also there are some of the particular, like, lecturers and things that people that taught us that also have impacted the way that I now teach other people. So that's certainly something I remember well. But more than anything, I do think it's that collegiality and the networks that you actually grew whilst training. So I first worked in the Mater Hospital, and we were at a time where there were intern positions for everybody, so it became a sort of a lottery type system. So it was a given that we would have a position straight away. I actually chose the Mater Hospital because although it was in Brisbane, it had it wasn't super subspecialised. It still did very generalist medicine, which is what I prefer and have continued to do. So with Professor Pern, he really demonstrated that you could be a kind and generous person with your time outside of just the medical side of things, and that really did have an impact on me. And I've tried to, again, from a collegiality point of view, try and make sure that it's not just medical things that I teach to the registrars that I now teach. It's also the professionalism, but also being kind and being the type of person you want to be, that actually really impacts on you being a doctor as well. Well, as I mentioned, I am the first doctor in my family, and I think I'm probably the first person who actually completed university in my family as well. So that's certainly an accomplishment. Further to that, I really like that I'm now in the position that I'm looking after a district of medical education training GPs now. So I look after all of Brisbane North for General Practice Training Queensland, and I think that means that some of the values that I have in terms of how I think medicine should be practiced, it has a ripple effect, and I can pass that on to the people coming next. So that's certainly something that I'm proud of. Yeah. As I said, doing terms earlier in my medical school time, I saw that there was a difference between the practice that happened in the city and the scope of practice that could be accessed in a slightly more regional or rural area. That was probably best shown to me during my rural term of medicine in third year, when I spent time in Gladstone. And I spent time not only in the hospital but also with rural GPs, and saw just how much they saw. I was able to do a lot myself when I was there as well, and I found that exciting and challenging, and so that's why I pursued that side of things. Yeah. So I think, first of all, you don't have to. There's not just one path to where you want to get to. Sometimes you can try something out for a little while and then decide to do something different, and that's okay, because it's all experience, and it all, every piece of experience that you collect is going to help you at some point in the future. And I suppose not feeling like you're in too much of a rush. Often people are very, they're on that track to finish medical school, get onto a program of some specialty, finish the fellowship and get on with what's next. But it's a long, long journey, and we're in it for like the marathon, not the sprint. So being able to take a little bit, take all of the experiences that you have as you go, and it's the journey, it's not that destination. That I've found that some people actually get to their fellowship and then are kind of like, well, now what do I do? So it's very much it's okay if it takes you time, and the rest will sort itself out. And also for people not to delay having family or getting married or doing all of those things just because they're on that journey. That doesn't have to come after, it can happen through. And more we're finding all of the colleges for fellowship are becoming more flexible, as they should. And I think particularly for women in medicine, they shouldn't have to choose between career and family. And it's really important that they feel they can do both, and do both well.